Talk to me, Cleveland. Welcome to Chill Talk. This is your brother Kevin Chill Hard, and we do have the super producer Felicia Haney on board. She's dealing with some technicals. She's at the bar, and she's trying. And they must have had some type of mayoral forum because she said she just saw my John F. Kennedy classmate Zach Reed and mayoral candidate Justin Bibb walking past. So probably had some type of mayoral forum going down. Cleveland politics happening right as we speak. But for the people who would, okay, there we have Haney. Felicia, you back on, super producer. You want to say hello?
I'm here. I just have not figured out how to take these red lips off my and I need to probably move.
Okay, I don't see them. Okay, oh, yeah, I do see them.
There go my ruby reds. I might just have to end up rocking with them for the show because till I figure out how to remove this feature.
Okay, well, Lisa, they're not. I think as long as you stand still, the ruby reds will stay. With Felicia's practicing with. Yeah, they on the side of your face now. But yeah, I was in the midst of saying that we lost 2 soldiers in journalism, 2 of our good members of the Greater Cleveland Association of Black Journalists, Herb Thomas, WJW, longtime cameraman, producer, award-winning producer over at Channel 8. Best, maybe most fine. I mean, everybody knows Herb's great work. They know him from with the Prayer Warriors, with this production company. But OG Clevelanders remember him as our first Black superhero, Soul Man. On an old school show, most people remember it as Big Chuck and Little John. But even before that, it was called Houlihan and Big Chuck. And they had a skit where Chuck Shadowski would run into, when a crime was being committed, he would run into a phone booth. And of course, Chuck Shadowski is a white guy. And he would emerge from a smoky phone booth as Soul Man. It'd be a big black brother wearing a superhero superhero outfit that looked more like some long johns that he hooked up, but still he would come out to save the day. And I would tell Herb that he was our before Black Panther, before Luke Cage, we had Soul Man. He was our first Black superhero. So that brother passed away, and he had his service Saturday. Also on Saturday, man, we lost a giant. Our dear Mansfield Frazier. They know him from his radio show, which I had the opportunity to stand in for him a couple of times. He invited me to, while he was out on vacation or whatever, he asked me to come in and on the show. Had a great time on WTAM. Also, they know him from the winery, Felicia, Chateau Huff. He has a vineyard. Not only does he grow the grapes, but he made the wine there. I think Felicia might have went there and was stomping on grapes with her bare feet one time, did you go there stomping on the grapes?
I did not, but I was just there some weeks ago, back last month, right before he did the harvest.
We were there, Felicia. We were there with Michael Jai White.
Yes, we were just there. So that was the it's crazy because last time you see someone, maybe the last time you see someone, and so never knew that would be the case. So that is very unfortunate, and that is a great loss, not just to us as a colleague, but in the field of journalism, but just to Cleveland. Mansfield's been around a long time, doing his thing, and doing stuff for the city.
Right. And I was at the service, beautiful service at the Maltz, okay, not the Maltz Museum, but it was the Maltz Arts, what's the exact name? The Maltz Arts venue over by the Circle.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I did
Yeah,
not make the service.
University Circle. But it was really nice. We got a video. Our man Jahi, who we know Jahi from Public Enemy, Clevelander, MC, poet, educator. He is Mansfield is his uncle, so he did a nice piece via Zoom or web or however he did it. It was really nice. So yeah, they and Mansfield was laying in state as a dignitary should. As you walked into the facility, you had to cut through this big giant room, and there was Mansfield. So we went and paid our respects. So yeah, we like Felicia said, a great loss. And you never know when the last time you see somebody may be the last time that you see somebody, like she just said. Anything else? What else happened? What'd you do over the weekend?
So hold on, I'm trying to get back to where I can see you. I done did something to take off this lip stain, which there we go. I got it off.
You got the lips, you got the ruby red lips off.
I got it off. I just couldn't see you for a moment. So I'm back. Trying to keep this light. This light is kind of fickle. Trying to keep it from Hey Rod. Pop in and say hey to the people.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There is Rod. He is one of the owners of
Rod.
Say hey to Chill Talk to the people.
There's Rod over at the Unbar.
Acting like Gina when Martin left her to do the show. Yeah. He's like, you on the radio? Oh my God. So I unfortunately was not able to make Mansfield or Herb's service because I mean, man, it's been a busy week in terms of funerals for some reason. So I was at another funeral on Saturday where a friend of mine lost their grandfather who had just reached 100. He was 100 years old. And he ended up passing away. So I attended that service on Saturday. And just the day before, a good friend of mine lost her husband due to COVID. He was only 41 years old. He was a part of that 2002 Ohio State championship football team.
Okay.
With Maurice Claret.
Claret, all right.
Yeah, so his name was Ivan Douglas. He played on that team, and then he walked on for the Raiders for at one point in time. But yeah, unfortunately,
is that the roofer behind you?
That is Mike the roofer.
Mike, a chill talk guest. He's been a chill talk guest at the station at Radio 1. My man, Mike the roofer. All right, but go ahead, Felicia. I just want to make sure that was Mike walking past.
That's Mike. That's the one and only Mike the roofer / chess player in the flesh. So yeah, unfortunately, and the crazy part is that they have two really small children. They just got married a few years back. They have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. They had literally just bought a home together, their first home together as a married couple. And they both caught COVID like the week they moved in. So she ended up recovering. He did not. He went to the hospital, had to eventually be put on a ventilator, went to a coma, the whole nine, and he just kind of went downhill from there. So got the news that he had passed away the other day as well. And so I'm in the process of also helping her get that together, right? And the obituary and all of that stuff. So that service will be coming up next week. So yeah, man, it's a a lot of stuff going on. We losing a lot of people. And
Losing people.
you know, so not to bring a whole somber mood to chill talk, but you know, just to say, hey y'all, love on each other while we here. Take care of each other. And I love and appreciate you all, especially for joining us here and keeping us going with the show. So if I ain't never said it before, I'm saying it now. Thank you. We love you. Keep supporting us here at Chill Talk, and we will keep doing what we do.
All right, now go ahead.
No, that's all. I was going to transition, no pun intended.
Right, I understand. But you know what? While you were speaking of that, I did, and I keep talking to Sean, and I've been going through most of Sean's new book, What SARS-CoV-2 Taught Me. Lots of information in here, and we're gonna make sure that we get Sean on it. I may do a special show for Sean. I may put together a My Cool Solutions sponsored show, but we definitely, in some form of fashion, we're gonna get Sean on to talk about his book and the topic, what SARS-CoV-2, which is COVID-19, what it
Still,
has taught
you
him.
ain't
What's
gonna
that?
believe you ain't gonna believe who I see outside this window.
Who is it? Is it somebody you have to go and get? Who do you see? Is it gonna be a surprise? Who is it?
Here it comes. Hold on.
A surprise guest.
See if you can see him.
Oh, it's Bob Render. Bob always wanted to know when he was going to get on Chill Talk. So yeah, you
Here was your 15 seconds of
that was
fame.
your 15 seconds, and so that makes it official. You know, that's part of the Justin Bibb campaign team. So with Zach and Bob there, that's for sure. What was going on?
Yeah, getting close. Just a few days left before the election. It seemed like it came up really quickly, but it's here. So
yeah, and I do want to know, because Adam is on right now talking about where is the free. Okay, first of all, Adam, you did win. We will be giving away some more tickets. I still got mad tickets as we get close to the November 6th Motor City Magic Oldies Review number 10. Like I said, Saturday, November 6th at the Cleveland Heights Civic Center. So stay tuned.
say it again.
The Cleveland Heights. It's actually, I don't know if it's called the Cleveland Heights Civic Center. It's just the Civic, right? But it's on Mayfield. It's in Cleveland
Heights own.
He played Joe the policeman
On the What's Going Down episode
of That's My Mama. But yeah, no, it's gonna be a fantastic show. So stay tuned. We're gonna give tickets away. I talked to ticket winners from last week. Adam won 2 tickets. Serge
I
called.
still have to collect the ones from you for that Wendy one and Rafiq one.
Okay, and Serge called and said he's going to give, because Serge is in Nashville, he's going to give his 2 tickets to his brother. So we're getting everybody those tickets, but we're giving away some tickets today. Also, Felicia, did you see the thing for King Richard?
No, I don't
Email
think so.
from Kim.
Oh yeah, for Tuesday.
Well, no, it was 2 things. It was one for us to go see, but she's also saying that we're gonna have a giveaway.
Okay. That one's on the 10th, I think.
I believe so. So
yeah.
We'll be giving away tickets for viewing of King Richard starring my brother, Will Smith.
This is better known, the movie better known as Serena and Venus's daddy.
Serena and Venus's daddy. Yes, it's about Richard Williams, the father of tennis greats, Venus Williams and Serena Williams. It's their story. And I hear there's Oscar buzz for Will Smith. We will see. I heard there's Oscar buzz in the air. What's going on to Drew. Drew is watching.
Hey.
Make sure you guys share the show. Speaking of Drew, did we have trivia yesterday?
I did attend trivia yesterday. I did not play because my plans were to leave early. And I did not end up leaving. Not only did I not end up leaving early, I ended up shutting the place down. I literally was like one of two of the last patrons at the Academy Tavern last night because our situation just worked out where it was almost kind of strange, really. Some woman I had never seen or met before comes over and starts talking to me and having a conversation about some stuff I had just went to dinner the night before and had a conversation with someone about. So how she came and started talking about this, I don't know. And I end up talking to her like literally the rest of the night. I don't think I left there till about 1:30 in the morning, which is why I did not have my work done, which is why my head is being buried in the computer all day today. But that's another story for another day.
Okay. We also have Eric Gregory watching the show right now. The husband and father of two of our guests last week. Man, that was people were actually calling me about that show, talking about how good of a show that was with both the mother and the daughter authors, and Greg and Wendy, the couple, where Greg, the husband, donated his kidney to his wife. It was a really good show. A lot of people are still talking about it. And we had some money, some transactions. I sent a message to Eric earlier today, and he responded. We're going to link up, and we're going to get him that money for those books. Let me see. What do we have, Felicia? We have 2 books that we're purchasing for Tremaine, right?
And also 2 books Wendy is purchasing.
2 books Wendy is purchasing.
Yep.
And the 2 books that Tremaine Mann is purchasing, we will give away at the Motown event. So make sure, stay tuned. We're still going to give away. We got a couple of more tickets for free. Felicia, how much are we giving away these tickets for today?
Well, unless you came up with another price, we usually give them away for the free.
And it is still for the free. So stay tuned, share the show, let people know we're giving away free tickets. And we're going to figure out when we need to give those tickets away for the movie. I don't know, Felicia, somebody might want to check that last email from Kim and see, do we have until next week to give away those King Richard tickets? Because you do not want to miss this, the Serena and Venus Williams Daddy movie. Okay, we do have Felicia. We have Sharon Kidd in the waiting room. You want me to let her in?
Absolutely.
All right, let's we have our guest. Do we have 1 guest or 2 guests this show?
We have 2, so our other guests should be coming in about 5 minutes, so we can get introduced to Sharon while we wait for Cora.
All right, let's see. We have Sharon coming in. And I said Chill Talk is going to buy 2 books too, Eric. So get that cracking. All right, Sister Sharon Kidd, can you hear us?
Yes. Am I okay? I can hear you.
All right, we hear you. Welcome to Chill Talk, sister.
Thank you.
All right, Felicia, you want to do the honors?
Hey, Sharon, thank you for joining us. I'm so glad you were able to join. So I actually met Sharon at Chill and I's favorite trivia gathering place, Academy Tavern, on behalf of a good friend by the name of Pam Mason. So Sharon was there doing an event for, as you all know, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. See, I have on my pink. I came prepared.
Love it, love it.
So Sharon was doing an event where people were making cards for victims of breast cancer. And I just thought that it was like such a cool event. And I think that there's another event of the same kind going on tomorrow at another location on Larchmere. I'll let you talk about that or get to that in a moment. But yeah, we just kind of had a chance meeting, and I found out about the event, a little bit about her story. And I was just like, oh, this is great. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We had not yet done anything on Chill Talk for it. And so I definitely just wanted to invite you out to come and talk not only about your story, but about what you have going on. So thank you so much for agreeing to come on the show and tell your story. And we love for you to do so.
Awesome. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm Sharon Kidd, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer about 3 years ago, September 9th of 2019 to be exact. And I was actually diagnosed with one of the most aggressive subtypes, triple negative. I was initially misdiagnosed as stage 2, but later diagnosed as stage 3. It has been a long and emotional journey, and it's still going. So I appreciate you wearing pink. However, with so much pink washing happening this month, it's been a little bit overwhelming. So I'm glad that I have the opportunity to know, like, I love pink, it's my favorite color, but I want people to kind of like know that Breast Cancer Awareness Month is more than just like repping your pink. Like, we should do more for organizations who do research. So I am now stage 4, so also known as metastatic, which means the disease has spread other parts of my body. And of the $15 million industry, only about, they say 5 to 7% of that money is spent for research for people like me who have this disease that has kind of spread throughout our body. So that is important to me because the stats say that metastatic disease, typically a person living with metastatic disease typically lives 12 to 18 months. And October is actually my 18th month. So I was like, it's been an emotional month to say the least. And so to still be here after 18 months, I beat the stat or that particular one. And I'm excited to kind of share my journey with you guys. I also like to talk about prevention. A lot of people do not do breast exams, and it's actually recommended that men and women do their monthly breast exam to kind of know what their normal is. So if they feel some lump or they have discharge or what have you, they kind of like know how to advocate for themselves and how to ask for a mammogram. And so yesterday I had the opportunity to sit on another panel where one of the speakers was a male, and he was also a male of color. And so it was touching because I hadn't seen that. And so a lot of my journey, I've been the youngest one, and I've been a woman of color. And typically when I went to the centers, so I've been to a couple of different healthcare centers, it's primarily older white women being treated. And so being under 40, having breast cancer is a little different because they say, wait till 40 to get, your mammogram. And I had no family history, no genetic mutations, and, somehow I have it. So I definitely want to tell young women, like, if you, feel something, like, advocate for yourself, go to the doctor, check it out, have a conversation. There's a website, an organization called Know Your Limits, and it kind of breaks down all the symptoms that one can have when they're experiencing breast cancer or the onset, and everybody won't have the same symptoms. Women of color typically have more dense breast tissue, so it might not be a lump per se. You just might feel stiffness as if you were breastfeeding or you were experiencing engorgement or something. But the website Know Your Limits, Know Your Limits kind of goes over the in and outs. I don't even know like where to start. So I've been kind of dealing with this or fighting breast cancer for 3 years. As I stated, I did not see a community of my peers. And so one of the groups that I've joined was For the Breast of Us. And it's an online, well, I met them online and I had an opportunity to meet all of the ambassadors in Florida this past May. And we kind of got together to determine how can we best collectively advocate in a variety of settings for people battling breast cancer. And that group has been empowering, and it's kind of given me opportunities to share my story in different platforms. I'm currently doing well. I'm thriving. I started my own group and I have my shirt, Thriving for Life. And I just want to encourage people to kind of pursue whatever it is, despite what their circumstances are. And I think that's enough, right? You guys want me to keep talking? Anybody have questions?
No, we will definitely have questions, and for sure going to want to know some more about your organization. And we are joined by another guest, Felicia, if you want to kind of bring her in as well.
Sure. So yes, Sharon, to answer your question, we definitely have more questions. But since we just got joined by another guest of ours, I'll go ahead and introduce Cora, and then I can kind of you can kind of jump in and ask you both some questions pertaining to you personally, as well as just the experience of having breast cancer and other preventative methods and so on and so forth. So I'd like to welcome Cora. She's a first time visitor or guest of Chill Talk, as well as Sharon. But Cora is a first time guest, but she has been in our chat room before. So she's a little bit familiar with the show.
So she's not brand new to Chill Talk.
So she's not brand new, but this is her first time as a guest. And so I reached out to Cora because I happen to know her personally on a personal note. And I was very saddened to find out that she had been diagnosed with breast cancer too, just a couple years ago. So I thought that we were doing this show and it would be, I would love for her to come on and share her story as well. So welcome, Cora, Harvey, officially to Chill Talk.
Welcome officially, Cora. Appreciate you attending other shows and being in the chat and participating. Did she win anything when she was watching the show the other time? Did she win something?
She ain't won nothing yet. So she's still eligible.
Okay, still eligible.
Even though she's a guest, she's still eligible. So yeah, if you just want to, I don't know exactly where you want to begin, but if you just want to give us a little bit of background about you and maybe like how or when you got diagnosed.
Sure. Cora Harvey, and I will soon be 51. I was diagnosed when I was 48. And I actually felt the lump in my breast, and I felt the lump a couple of months before I got diagnosed. And when I went in to doctor, my fears were confirmed that, it was a cancerous tumor. And the whole process, the surgery and everything, I wouldn't say that it was too bad. It wasn't too much to actually go through with healing and everything, but the emotional effects of dealing with cancer is longevity, because it is a trauma, and counseling and things like that. You need those type of things, to kind of get past it.
So, and you both can jump in and ask. Well, actually, but before I go there, let me go back to you, Sharon, because you said that you got diagnosed in 2019, but you were actually misdiagnosed. So can you talk a little bit about that and then how you came to know what your, status was after the misdiagnosis?
Yep. So there are a number of tools that a doctor or physician can use to determine what type of cancer you have, the grade, and more about the tumors. Initially, when I had the mammogram done, something about the photos were off. So the tumor was larger than what they expected or intended. And since it was triple negative, it was growing. So I went in for testing like one day, and like in between the appointments, the tumor had grown. And so I went from a stage 2 to a stage 3. And when I actually had my surgery, there was an extended gap from surgery to scans. And during that time, the disease metastasized. So it's very important for people to kind of know what their normal is. And I think I read an article where the National Cancer Society is kind of suggesting that people no longer do their self-exams, and they're just encouraging people to kind of know their normal. I think that we should do both. And both can kind of make sure that we are taking care of ourselves, and it'll give a person an opportunity to kind of seek some preventative measures. So they, I can't say that they won't, have stage 4 cancer, but they can at least take the steps that they can to kind of prevent as much as possible.
I agree, because I'm more, want to speak to people before they get to what we went through. And it's very important, for people to take back control of your health, and doing things that could possibly prevent you from even getting into this type of situation and getting a tumor, being aware of the type of foods that you eat, what you're consuming, things that you're putting on your body. When you have all these ingredients and things, it's okay to take a look and see what those things are and look them up and see if they're even worth you even putting those things on your body, or some of the things that's in some of the foods, because a lot of times, like, we are poisoning ourselves to get into these type of situations, and our immune system is so confused. It doesn't know to get rid of things, if it should keep it. But I'm more on before you get to, because once you get into this, it's like a whirlwind. It's like you have so many different things that you have to go through. And again, the emotional aspects, it's a form of trauma. So it's longevity that you would have to deal with these things.
Right. Well, you know what? I wanted to ask Sharon real quick. Once you found out, and I don't know if you know the statistics. I know you said that they normally tell women to get mammograms. At what age is that?
40.
40. And you were diagnosed correctly at what age?
31.
Okay, so I don't know what the statistics are on that, but how much did you, and probably same thing with Cora, how much information did you have to all of a sudden just dive into? I mean, because some people, we don't want to just depend on the doctors giving information. We have to advocate for ourselves and get as much information as we can. But how did you all go about finding out everything that you possibly could about your situation? And Sharon, first, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you. So I would record all of my doctor's appointments. So I let my physician know, like, hey, I'm trying to process what you're saying right now, which means I need to listen to it later. I also took someone with me. So I would allow myself some time to kind of review the after visit summary, listen to the conversation again, Google the words that I didn't understand. And I did a lot of searching on Google. I will say that probably increased my anxiety and increased my nervousness about going. And I also took a lot of time finding oncologists that I thought were great. So I know people aren't in the business of interviewing doctors, but after I was diagnosed as metastatic, I wanted to make sure that I had someone who knew my name, who knew that I was more than just a number. And to be honest, I went through 5 before I found the person that I'm like, okay, this is who I want to be life partners with, and this is who I trust. Trust to, make sure that they're providing me with the best care possible.
Okay. And Cora, kind of talk about your experience with that as well.
The same, because you feel so many emotions from the start. First, you're in shock, then you feel scared, then you feel confused. And just like Sharon was saying, you're not really sure that the doctor may be giving you the best plan that's best for me. I want you to say, this is what I feel is best for you, instead of going down the checklist, the protocol, or what you tell everybody. So it is very important. And I stayed up many a nights. And you know how you always say, like, well, I know I hear a lot of people say, well, Facebook is like recording what I'm saying or whatever. But one day I was on, I got on Facebook, and this documentary thing came up on my news feed. The Truth About Cancer is what the name of it is. And it's on YouTube. And I went, and that kind of helped walk me through the process, because I had no idea of, just like Sharon said, some of the things they don't take the time to kind of slow down to try to make sure you are comprehending, that you understand what they're saying to you. And watching that documentary kind of helped me walk through the process and understand what was being said to me, and for me to go through what was best for me.
So I did kind of want to get to where you guys are with this level of understanding. So, I mean, I can only imagine, you kind of freak out just at the thought of thinking that when you go to the doctor, they're going to tell you that something is not right. So once you actually get that information, what is that process like? Like you have to, after you got the shock factor, and you are actually accepting what is going on, what is it that you have learned throughout this process? Like I hear you, Cora, talking about, letting people know like how you can be proactive. What is it that, or one of the most important things that you have learned throughout this process for yourself, and that you would like to share with others?
That when they're telling me something, because the doctors, they have like a time schedule that they have to spend with you. So it's like, quick, they have to get you in and out because somebody else is waiting. I take my time, I ask my questions, that is my right for me to understand what you're telling me. And if I have questions, I want to ask them right now, because, it may say, they may get slipped through the cracks. You may forget about it, but it's a process that I can't even put into words of how it goes and the emotions that come along with it. So you do have to take a step back, and sometimes you have to write things down of when you're going into these appointments, of things that you want to talk about, things that you want them to explain to you, and how you're going to go to your next step.
Yeah, Sharon.
Yeah, so I echo Cora's sentiments. Those are definitely things that you have to do. I also recommend that you just advocate for yourself, and that means taking a little extra time to kind of look up what you have, look it up. I found that it was best for me to find other people who had a similar subtype, or who had the same subtype as me. And I would just ask them questions to kind of get a feel for what I could expect, although I knew that no two people are going to have the same cancer experience. And the other thing I would just say is, try your best to live in the moment. And so many times I found myself anxious because I was either thinking about the past or, thinking about the future instead of living in the moment. So I definitely think that if you are fighting this, try your best to gather a support team, be your own advocate, and live in the moment.
Sharon, let me ask you this. As you earlier stated, that you have now surpassed a threshold that they had given you. First of all, how are you feeling right now?
Today is a good day. My emotions are up and down, and some days are great, some days are not, but all the days I keep it pushing. I have a little one who is looking up to me, and so there aren't many days where I can like sit there and cry. So although I may be feeling nauseous or I may be feeling sick or what have you, I still have to keep going. So I'm just excited to be here. And I really like people to know who are going through a similar situation, the power of the word "and." So while I'm mad as hell that I have breast cancer, that I just don't know where it came from, I'm also grateful that I'm still here to be with my kids.
Okay, and tell me about the organization that you started again.
So it is just like a movement, a social media movement. It's called Thriving for Life. And I actually started documenting my journey. So for a whole year, no one knew that I had cancer. I would have my wigs on, I would have my face beat, like no one knew. I didn't tell anyone. And so when I started journaling, I was like, oh, I should record this. Other people needs to know. And so it, one, helped me I guess it freed me from bondage. Like at first I was ashamed, I was embarrassed. Like I didn't want people to know. Like I had to come to grips with myself, like not having any hair. I have a little brother, we're 6 years apart. And when I had no hair, we looked just like, so like I look like this. And so like, just, it's funny now, but like it really, as Cora was saying, it really plays a huge toll on your mental health. And I will say, that is one piece that I did not have at the very beginning. And I feel like you go through a slew of doctors, like I met a slew of white people, and none of them was a therapist. And at the end of the day, to make sure that you stay sane, we need to kind of talk about the mental health and how that piece is kind of left out of the process. Now, a lot of doctors or centers are doing holistic healing. So they want you to, have a pastor, they want to have a physician, they want you to have stress management. So like they want to speak to the whole body. And I think that's great. But that was not introduced to me at the very beginning of my journey. And also the option of having clinical trials as a part of my care wasn't introduced. And now there's like a big push for women of color to kind of participate in trials. But history and clinical trials don't agree with some people, or some people, believe that they're bad for us, or they compare it to like the Tuskegee experiment and things like that. But I definitely think that clinical trials can help the next person. So I participated in one. It was not a success for me, but I'm hopeful that my participation in a clinical trial can help someone down the line. And I totally went in a whirlwind with that question, but I hope that answered it.
Oh, no. That's great information and we appreciate it. So I do want to jump back into something that you said, because you mentioned that you have breast cancer and you have no idea where it came from. So that's one of the questions that I wanted to pose to you all, because although breast cancer is common, can be hereditary, but it is one of the most treated forms of cancer, I will also say. So, but my question to you would be, if you don't have a history of breast cancer in your family, or this comes, out of nowhere, how do you really know how to handle it? Like you don't necessarily have any examples or you know, such and such in my family had it and they went through this. What is that process like? And I'm not sure with you, Cora, if you want to also talk about maybe how you got breast cancer, or if you even know how. You know, I don't know if this ran in your family or what that situation was like with you.
Still don't know how I came in contact with it. I did like a genetic test to see if it was anything that was hereditary that I contracted, and it came up nothing. So I still have no idea of how. You know, at the time, like I like to garden, and you know, Felicia, I know you know this, like I like to, you know, work in my yard, you know, on my grass. I didn't hear about the what's that chemical that for weeds? Why am I drawing a blank?
Roundup. It's the round that was in the
I
Roundup.
can't think of it. Right. Yes, I was using that, but I wasn't like, you know, protecting where, you know, that could not like absorb into my skin. A lot of times I didn't have gloves on. I can just assume, but I still honestly don't know like how I contracted it.
Yeah. I am kind of in that same boat. I also had the genetic testing done. And then they also did a test to see if I was BRCA1 positive, and I am not. So they say maybe stress could have possibly been a contributing factor. But who knows? I really have no clue, but I wish that more people gave to organizations such as MetaViver, who kind of funds research for cancer and metastatic disease. So we can kind of have, or so we could have some more answers, because at this point, it's kind of like, we don't know where it came from, but this is where we are. This is what we have to deal with. And if we can kind of educate ourselves and others through the process, then that's what we should do.
I agree. As you know, I think I saw in a study, I think like 1 out of every 3 women will contract like breast cancer. That's huge. You know, that is, when you think about the numbers, it's just like something else has to be going on other than, you know, genetics or something. I don't know like what it is, but so many people end up coming up with breast cancer and also other forms of cancer at an alarming rate. So I sometimes I have to back away from a lot of things because it can, again, like mental health, you know, taking in like so much information about this in a short period of time. Sometimes I have to take a break from it because it is like very overwhelming. But I would love to know the answer of where this is coming from.
All right, let me ask Cora. And by the way, I believe that it was in the Roundup, that chemical, I think it's like glyphosate or something of that nature. Well, in Cora, we heard Sharon saying when she was first diagnosed that she wasn't telling anybody. How did you process that? And were you comfortable with letting people know? And I know Sharon started journaling and doing things like that. But how did you process it? And did you have a support group? And did you initially start letting people know? But what was that process like for you?
Yes, I have 3 grown children, and I did tell a couple of people, but I felt it was only right that I told my children before I really came out and told people. And then I was struggling with, because I didn't know how to tell them. And my son was the first one of my children that I told. And then I tried to, I'm embarrassed about it, but I tried to put it on him to try to have him tell his siblings. But I thought about it like that night, and I was like, you know, I'm putting too much on him, you know. And I eventually did tell my children. And then after that, I did tell, you know, people that I had breast cancer.
Well, and it seems as though it's still hard for you to talk about it right now. And I know myself and Felicia are happy to have you on here, sharing that information in your story, as you can continue to go through this.
Yeah, I
And
appreciate you for having me.
and we appreciate you being on and sharing the story. So I want to ask Sharon, so when you said you started journaling, did that kind of put the power back in yourself? What did that do? What did it do for you, and what even made you think of doing that, and why did you even find it was necessary for that undertaking?
So writing is therapeutic for me. And then I also had such a huge network. So when all of my friends were initially told, it was like, what can we do for you? Who needs to watch the baby? Do you need me to do this laundry? So like everybody's like, how do I do this? So in addition to so many people wanting to help me through the process, I also had to, give updates to everybody. And so it's like it's more than exhausting calling the 25 people. And so it was like, hey, what can I do to share the information one time and all of my homies can figure out what's happening with me. They can it was like a journaling tool and people could send messages. So I believe the app is called Caring Bridge and it's free. So it doesn't cost us anything. You can upload photos, you can upload videos. So it's just like a website where whatever, it doesn't even have to be cancer. It can be anything that you want to share, like any health issues that you have that you want to share with your family. And it's kind of like a tool for me to communicate. So
Can you say the name of that again? I'm just going to type it into the chat.
Caring Bridge. I believe it's Caring Bridge.
Is that .com or org or?
I think it's .com, caringbridge.com. And then you can make a website. It's free of charge. And people would have to register for your site. So if I only wanted certain people to have it, then I would give them the code to access it.
Mm-hmm. So it's actually a really, really great tool. And one of the reasons I say that is because from just the personal standpoint, or, with the relationship I have with Cora, when I found out that she had breast cancer, I did not find out from her. So as a person on the outside, I'm like, man, you feel bad, you don't know what to do, but then you're like, well, do I reach out to her? Am I supposed to act like I don't know? But I don't want to feel like, I don't want them to feel like that I don't care, but then I don't want them to feel like I'm in their business, or I don't, so there's like this whole, I don't know what to do. And not that the people, your friends and family are the victims. We're not the victims, but at the same time, we just don't know what to do. We don't know if we're going to say the wrong thing or, make it so, what is it really that, that others can do that can be most helpful to you guys or anyone else who's maybe, maybe somebody just found out today they were diagnosed with breast cancer. What is it that we can do that would be most helpful?
Cora, you want to go first?
Oh yeah, because that's like such a broad thing, because it's so much. Even if you can't physically, you need people to talk to. You're not really looking for advice. You're just looking for a listening ear. Stopping by, with food for the person or helping them clean up. I mean, it's always, friends. And I don't think, because I've met so many people through this journey, but I don't think I've ever met anyone that would not be accepting, to any type of help or, excuse me. Sorry.
It's all right, honey. Take your time.
As they say in the church, take your time.
This is coming in contact with breast cancer, I would say it's bittersweet. It's bitter because dealing and having to deal with all this is so hard. But it also taught me a lot to take better care of myself, to realize how important it is that I only have one body and I have to take care of myself. Being an advocate for myself is like the perfect way to say it, because I can only take the best care of myself. So it's changed so many things with me. Before, I was a person that took care of everybody and always put myself last. But now I'm not. I put myself first. I take care. I'm no good to nobody else. So I'm really sorry. I apologize for being emotional, but this is still, when you really get into talking about this, it's like an open wound still. And sometimes I could get through conversations without being emotional. And today, emotions are just coming to the surface. But I've learned that I allow myself to feel what it is that I'm feeling whenever these emotions come up.
And don't apologize. Please don't apologize. So yeah, we can only imagine. And usually if we were back in the studio, which we are not, we would have some breaks. We could go to break and take a moment. But unfortunately, we are not yet back in studio. But at any given time, if you feel you want to press mute or turn that camera off, we are not offended. Please feel free, like you said, to take care of yourself and do what it is you need to do. We are just grateful that you are here and sharing your story with us and with our Chill Talk audience. And yeah, we appreciate you. So thank you. We did have some questions in the chat. Pamela Mason is here, who is the person that introduced Sharon and I, and she wants Sharon to talk about the wonderful national group in Florida that she enjoyed for a weekend of Black breast cancer. I'm not sure what it says, DHJ or something. I'm not sure if that's short for something or.
So the group that I am an ambassador for is called For the Breast of Us. And it was started by two women of color who felt left out. Again, they were young women of color diagnosed with early stages of breast cancer, and attending workshops and going into centers. They never saw themselves. And at first, when I was diagnosed, I felt the same way. I'm like, I see all these white people. I don't see any young Black women, and people are looking at me like, what are you doing? You look so young. You shouldn't have this. And I have this baby face, but when I start talking, they realize that, like, oh, she speaks well, whatever that means, right? That's another microaggression, but we won't talk about that right now. And so like going to these spaces, I didn't see myself. And I'm like, there has to be a group where I can go and connect with other women of color, because I can't be the only woman of color who has this disease. And so I found them on Facebook. So they have a closed Facebook. Unfortunately, right now it's for women of color only. I know there has been questions about support groups for males, and I hope that that's something that they can create, or somewhere in a community somebody will create that need or create that resource, because it's other males who have, or it's males who have breast cancer as well. But with the group, we stayed in Florida for about 3 days. And throughout that time, we kind of discussed different ways that we were going to begin advocating for other women of color. So we have different types of committees. So I'm on the philanthropy committee. We have a legislative committee. So we have a number of committees, and there are ambassadors from all over the nation. I believe the founders live in Seattle and Florida. And we pretty much come together to see, how can we be impactful and how can we make a difference in the lives of other women of color. Throughout the Facebook group, like people ask questions, they want to know about the different surgeries. And one of the things we did, we took a photo shoot and all of women were able to be themselves, right? So, you know, there were no breast forms, no foobs, or the foobs were out, and that's the word they use for a fake boob. So everybody was able to be themselves. The people who are flatties, they were able to be themselves. And I am going to, Felicia, before we end, I'm going to send you the photo. And the photo has been uploaded and shared. I think most recently it was shared by D.L. Hughley. And it was just all of us, you know, with our new bodies, kind of accepting who we are, the scars, the heartaches that, you know, comes with it. Like, it's a little strange getting dressed every day with one chest, like what? And it was a time where we can kind of embrace our bodies, embrace the change, and not look at it from like a negative standpoint, because it is very traumatic when you go through such a life-changing procedure. I actually had a staph infection, and I tried to do the implant and it didn't work for me. And so that was also during COVID. So I was in the hospital for about a week by myself. The nurses and stuff, they, you know, came into your room very seldomly because, you know, they didn't want to contract COVID, whether you had it or not, which was totally understandable. But to go through that experience has kind of scarred me. As Cora said earlier, this is a traumatic event. And because of that trauma, I just refuse to go back to not therapy, surgery. So I have a unilateral and I am okay with it. That photo shoot kind of helped me express like my current self and not be, I guess, a victim of who I thought I was before. Because it's a little unusual. Like when you're having conversations with people and they know you have breast cancer, like their eyes wonder, but then when you catch them, they have to come back up and make it look normal. And like things like that, like we deal with. And it's kind of funny talking about it now, but like in the moment, people don't know what to say, just like you were saying. And I will say one of the things that irks my soul is when people find out you have breast cancer and they're so awkward, they don't know what to say. They say, so-and-so had breast cancer and they died. Don't say that. That is never okay. Like under no circumstances is that appropriate. And some people think like, hey, this is a bonding opportunity. I'm going to tell them how they beat the statistic. We don't want to process what we have with something that somebody had and they died. We already know that people die from cancer every day. So in the moment, if you are trying to be there for someone or connect with someone, that's a no-go. Don't do that. And that is a common mistake. And I promise people mean no harm, but it is very offensive. It is very discouraging to have a conversation with someone, because usually it's like you haven't seen that person in a long time or you just met that person or something. It's introductory. And then they say it and then you're like, what? And then they expect for the conversation to go smoothly, or I don't know, Cora, you can chime in, let me know your thoughts, but like that is that's my number one pet peeve when it comes to like the I have cancer conversation. Like that's a no.
Cora, I see you over there shaking your head. What are you thinking right now?
Yeah, or a lot of times, you're not really sure. It's like, you know, sometimes people are there, like want to come and see you, but it's like, you kind of get this vibe, like they want to see like if you look sick or if anything looks different like about you. It's very annoying. A couple of people, the same incident that she's talking about, like 2 people said that to me. And I was just saying like, oh, wow, like, you know, that's kind of harsh, you know, because I'm still in the middle of this, you know, so I haven't even seen the light yet. I haven't even seen the end of the tunnel. And this is the story like that you're telling me. And, you know, I don't think that it was intentional, but it was like, wow, no, thanks.
Felicia, I just shared a link with you, and you can share it in the chat if you like. It is the webpage for the Breast of Us, and it also has the photo that I was just referencing that was shared all over, and I think it was retweeted by DL Hughley.
Big ups to DL Hughley for that. Sharon, I want to go back to something that you said when you talked about you participate in the clinical trial.
Yes.
We've had the Chill Talk doctor, Dr. Bonita Cole, lots of times that she's been on here where she's really been talking about Black people participating in clinical trials. And we know we can talk about the history, but the thing is that she says is that without our people participating in these clinical trials, that we're missing that our genetic diversity from the data that's being used and being given, and it a lot of times it leaves us out from information where if they come up with drugs or they come up with cures or whatever, we don't know how it affects Black people because we didn't participate in the clinical trial. Yep. So just talk about that just a little bit more, but I was glad that you brought that up, and I was happy to hear that that you did participate in clinical trials, because a lot of our people, they want no parts of clinical trials. But like Dr. Cole said, without us, our genetic diversity is left out of so many things that when they come up with other things for us, we don't know how it affects us, because again, like I said, we didn't participate. But talk to me about that for a brief second again.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to kind of talk about it. In our community, is definitely not something that we are like, oh, I'm getting in line for that. It was important to me that I knew all of my options. And I think it's very disheartening that I had been through 4 oncologists before anyone even said like, hey, this is a treatment option. And I feel like we need to make sure that we have a seat at the table, because right now, the mortality rate for women of color as it relates to breast cancer is twice of that as our light-skinned cousins, because they are going through the clinical trials, they have a seat at the table, and they're seeing what works, what doesn't work. Right now, there's not that much information or scientific data as it relates to breast cancer drugs for women of color, because we haven't had a seat in the past. And right now, all kinds of pharmaceutical companies are paying for us to come to the table. So they realize like, hey, we have to give them something, or we need to entice them. So I'm pretty sure other ethnicities are receiving compensation as well, maybe, but they're definitely seeking out women of color to kind of trial or be on these clinical trials. I will say I'm glad that I participated in the clinical trial. I definitely want to be a part of history, and I realized the clinical trial didn't work for me, but my participation is going to help someone else. There was a lot of time, like I took the time to kind of read on the drug in several different Facebook groups that I'm in. I kind of asked other people how their experience was on a clinical trial. So I didn't just jump in blind. I had several conversations with my team, including my oncologist. And when you have cancer, you typically work with your nurses a little more. So I'm really good friends with all my nurses, and I kind of asked them, what are some of the symptoms and side effects that you see with your current clients who are on a clinical trial? I asked about like the waivers and all of the legal stuff. So it really took me some time. I went over the process with my family, my mom. I even talked about it with some of my religious leaders and mentors. So definitely have that conversation, explore all treatment options, and do your research before you accept and or decline any clinical trial, will be my suggestion.
All right,
I got
thank
a question, but before I ask, I was just gonna read some comments from the chat. Carolyn says that this is a wonderful conversation and she wishes that she had this when she was going through it. That she felt very alone and she felt she needed to be strong for her family. So she appreciates this conversation. Nadira has a special message for Cora. She says that you are so brave for doing this. And may God continue to give you the strength you need to keep sharing your story. So yeah, people are again to the point that you guys have been making. And one of the questions I wanted to ask you is how has this transformed you all? So you talk about, not going through the stage of not wanting people to know, to start and tell people, to feeling, and then, you're doing journaling or all of these things. So for, be it the great, the good, the bad, or the ugly, how has this transformed you all?
I think I touched on it a little bit, but it transformed me to put myself first and allow myself to feel any type of emotions that I feel, minimize my stress, be aware of, the foods and the drinks that I'm consuming. I'm just getting to the point to where I'm learning to love on my scars because, looking at it's hard. It is. And every doctor's appointment that I make it through with good news, I don't care what it is, how big or small, I celebrate. I treat myself, to something that I want. Sometimes I go a little overboard, but I do. And to get through this process, because this is forever, lifelong changing, because the same emotions come up every time, that I have to get a scan or it's some type of major thing that I have an appointment for. It's just like I'm sitting there for the first time thinking that they're going to say, you have cancer again, or the cancer has now shown up in a different place in your body. So I'm still taking this one day at a time.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if I was on mute or not. I echo many of Cora's sentiments, and I also kind of live each day with gratitude. For a long time, I was in a shell, and now I feel like my story could possibly help another person kind of express themselves and fight this battle, not in shame. I also want to make sure that I take time for myself. So I now kind of have a thought process of every day is a holiday. And I think I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get real dressed up for my birthday. And another one of my mentors is like, well, it has to be your birthday for you to get dressed up. And I was like, oh, and so now it's kind of like, oh, I can get dressed each day or however I feel. I don't have to, wait for there to be a big moment to get dressed up or, to wear your favorite perfume or what have you. Just making sure that you do those tiny things to make sure that you're practicing self-care. And so like Cora said, you have to kind of take care of yourself. And one of the other things that we can do to take care of ourselves is to make sure that we give back people's problems and making sure that we set boundaries and we can kind of handle our emotions and we're not entitled or obligated to manage the emotions of other people. And I'll say one of the most difficult parts of this journey is making sure, like when you tell your family, like you're not accepting their feelings. So I know that I was really concerned about how my mom would react, and maybe not even just her, just anyone. So like when other people started to cry, then it triggered me. And now I'm to a space where I can be okay. and I can kind of tell my story without being triggered. But it took a long time, and it took a lot of practice. It took a lot of journaling to kind of like step outside. So now I feel like sometimes I'm viewing my life from the outside, and I'm thinking like, oh, what does that look like? And I am focusing on me, making sure that I'm doing some of the things that I love and doing things that I feel like are leaving positive impacts on the world.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to before we, we have to let you ladies go, your sisters go. I do want to ask about, how are you going through this during the pandemic? What special arrangements, how you maneuver, how you move in public, in private, during a pandemic. How does that work for you all?
Well, I'm still in treatment. Uh-oh, you want to go, Cora?
Go ahead, you go.
I'm still in treatment. I'm in treatment 3 weekends out of the month. I wear my mask everywhere. In treatment, only one person is allowed to attend treatment with you. So in public, I wear my mask. Sometime at home, I wear my mask. I have a little person. So I have her wear her mask wherever she's going. We're making sure we're following the CDC guidelines. It does get a little lonely sometimes, so we do go out visiting. I've visited most of my friends who were vaccinated. I don't think I've visited anyone who wasn't vaccinated or hasn't been vaccinated at the moment, but just making sure that if I am hanging out, maybe we hang out outside opposed to inside sometimes. And I guess that's pretty much how I'm hanging.
Well, to start with the pandemic, because I've been working from home since I lost track of the years, like when COVID first started, like in March, I've been working from home since then. So I didn't really have anywhere to like, wear really like clothes and stuff too. So whenever I had an appointment, it was like so excited because I would just be like, I'm just gonna wear this dress up here with these heels or wear these shoes and stuff. And people would be like, where's she going? And I'd be like, how y'all doing? But I'm basically at home like all the time. Unless if I really don't go out until maybe like Saturdays. Basically, but I get up like real early in the morning, like on Saturdays, and get dressed, go to the grocery store or do my errands and everything. But every time that I come back into the house, I have this regimen. I take this black seed oil. I got this special like alkaline water that I drink. I take that elderberry, like every time I go outside, I come back in and I take those things. But I haven't had any issues like with COVID so far. Thank goodness. But it does get lonely, but this is the new normal, as they call it.
Right, and I see you sisters are staying strong, and I do see we have Sean P. In the chat, the brother and Sean, I promise we're gonna do a super big show for you. The author of What SARS-CoV-2 Taught Me, an amazing book of what this process has taught Sean. And I learned so much from Sean. He's up every other day with Science with Sean. So you can catch him on YouTube, gives so much information about this pandemic and what he has learned from it. So I'm glad to see Sean in the chat. Felicia, any
I
other?
did want to ask, and Sharon touched on it briefly early on when she was doing her introduction about women. I mean, traditionally we associate breast cancer with women, but it's not a disease that only women get. So I wanted to talk about if you guys know, if you have any tips for people just in general to to stay healthy or maybe try to help avoid breast cancer or any other any myths or misconceptions that you're just like, this is not true. I know you guys aren't doctors, but there's been a lot of talk about even like deodorant. And if that is something that could be breast cancer causing, for men and women, I myself have made the switch to natural deodorant just because I haven't done any extensive research on it either, but I just don't know. So I'm like, this seems a little more safe, so I'm gonna go with something a little bit more safe. To your point, Cora, of just paying attention to what you put in your body or on your body. You mentioned taking natural supplements or doing the alkaline water. So I was just wondering if you guys had any tips or wanted to clear up any misconceptions or anything about breast cancer.
Ooh, and I think Felicia, I think you kind of know, it's like the list just goes on and on and on, you know, with me of trying to make sure that I take care of myself and stay healthy. You know, the deodorant, yes, you have to look on the back. A lot of the deodorants have aluminum right in the ingredients, and you putting that right under your arm, that stuff is going right into your lymph nodes. It's so dangerous. So using a natural deodorant is tedious because it doesn't last as long, you know, as the deodorants that we have became accustomed to using, but it's better for you. And a lot of people think, you know, sweating is bad. You're supposed to sweat. If you are not sweating, something is not right. You're supposed to sweat. It's aggravating, you know, but you are supposed to sweat. Sweating is a good thing, you know. So the list goes, it's like so many different things, but I would say start with paying attention to look at the ingredients. If you don't know what the stuff is, look it up. If you take vitamins, vitamins should not have like 20 and 30 of those ingredients in there. If you get like a multivitamin or something and it has like all of those different things, pick something else, because vitamins, you should be able to tell what's in there. All of those different things, a lot of those things are chemicals. So a lot of people think, you know, I'm doing this to get healthy, but you really, on the other hand, you're confusing your immune system. Your immune system is designed to attack things that should not be in your body and get rid of it. But the way how a lot of things are made, a lot of the foods and everything, our immune system is so confused that this is how a lot of sicknesses, this is how these things start, because your immune system has no idea what to do.
Well, you're gonna have people out here running to the CVS to get the Tom's deodorant.
Yeah, Tom's is good.
Yeah, the Tom's, that's a go-to for natural deodorant. All Tom has good products, toothpaste and all of that.
Yep,
But
toothpaste. My grandchildren went over and they was like, what kind of toothpaste is this? I said, use it.
like, I ain't seen Tom on no commercial.
They like, no, you got all this different stuff over here. And I always have like essential oils, like in the diffusers, and get the 100% essential oils. And my granddaughter told me, she said, I don't feel like smelling all these smells you be having going over here, because I had them things going on every floor.
Cool. I met Beyonce's dad maybe about 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. He had come to Cleveland and he had written a book. He was on like a book tour, and he talks about him having breast cancer. So I just want to reiterate that to let men know, you know, men who might be in the chat, if you're watching the show live, or if you're watching it on the playback on YouTube, you know, it's not just for us, that you guys got to get checked yourselves for these types of things. I'm sorry about the background, y'all. Somebody commented in the chat saying, tell the people in the background to be quiet. These chess players up here are intense, okay?
Alicia's at our favorite, one of our favorite locations, the Unbar, alias her office.
Oh yeah.
They back there. I don't know if you can see them, but look, they slapping the chess pieces so hard. Look, I'm scared to say
Hey man, that's
something.
for
I might
real
end up
chess.
with
When you
down my
throw
throat.
the chess pieces, that's not white people chess. That's brothers chess. They slamming the chess pieces on the table like they playing dominoes. But I did want to add, when you talk about men, especially black men, you know, being able to get breast cancer and they're going to get checkups. First and foremost, brothers need to go get checkups, period. So we are so bad, horrible at going to get checkups. Go to the doctor, man. We don't want to hear that, you know, man, that same old tired story about we don't show up until the wheels fall all the way off. No, get man, get your regular checkups, get a doctor, get somebody you trust, get to know a physician. So a lot of that will come into play that Sharon was talking about just by getting regular checkups. So yeah, I agree, and I'm glad you shared that information with the brothers out here. A lot of times the sisters need to be the ones to tell these dudes, bruh, you get your checkup yet? So sisters, y'all gotta sometimes be honest to make sure that we get it done. But go ahead, Felicia.
I'm done. I mean, I know I didn't ask y'all a zillion questions, and you guys have really given us a wealth of information from a personal perspective as well as you know, things that you have learned along the way. So I am, for one, appreciative of you sharing the story. I am one of those women, like one of you talked about when you go get your checkup, go to the doctor that has the dense breast tissue. So every time I go, I'm very nervous myself, just based off the fact that they've told me that, like, you got dense tissue, so you need to watch it. I'm like, what? You know, I'm nervous just of them saying that. So, you know, I could only imagine. So it's just, yeah, I think that the theme is just, you know, self-care. We got to be out here taking care of ourselves, brothers and sisters, getting these checkups, living healthier lifestyles, just doing what we need to do to take care of self. So thank you, ladies. I appreciate you. I don't know if there's anything you want to say in closing. Oh, I'm sorry. Before that, Sharon, please share the event that's going on tomorrow. And also, I believe that there's a wig drive. Is this the same thing with tomorrow? I'll let you tell it.
Oh, okay. Yes. So the National Congress of Black Women, we are collecting wigs, and we prefer that they be gently used and or new wigs. And they're being donated to an organization called Wig Out. And this organization is based in Texas, but they service women of color nationally. And you can have any type of cancer. You go on their website. There's like a quick Google survey, and you do the survey, and then they send you a box full of goodies, a brand new wig, hair wraps. They send you like everything that you'll need for your wig, a wig stand, a foam mannequin to put your wig on. They send you some cute hair wraps, like all the time. We don't feel like putting our wig on. You want to wear a natural bald, but it's cold. Like I went outside the other day, I was like, oh, I need a hat or some hair. But anywho, the organization is called Wig Out. They service women of color affected by cancer, like all over the place. Excellent organization. One of the fellow ambassadors, Miranda, she works there. So she is one of the people that go and, you know, go through the survey and send people. So they ask you like, what's your natural hair type like? And they try to get you a wig that's similar, or, you know, what you desire. They don't just send you any old wig. So I encourage people or anyone going through breast cancer or any kind of cancer, and you like a headpiece, head wraps, the whole nine for free, check out wigout.org. And then tomorrow we will be at a Touch of Rain nail spa. We are hosting a card party, and it's similar to the organization Send a Smile. And so what we're doing is making greeting cards for all people who have cancer. So there will be children's cards there as well. But we invite you out to our card party. We're going to hopefully make a lot of people smile by sending these postcards out to individuals who are in active treatment. And so I will say that I am a member of Send a Smile, or a participating member of Send a Smile. And I think it's great. One, that people send mail. 2, that people thought enough of you to send you a piece of mail, and hopefully it made you smile. So for Breast Cancer Action Month, not Awareness Month, we are doing this card party. So you're invited. The address is 12407 Larchmere Boulevard. And again, it will be at a Touch of Rain Nail Spa. We are hosting a nail party, and we're also collecting wigs. And you can send wigs to Wig Out anytime. It doesn't need to be Breast Cancer Awareness Month or Action Month for you to be positive, for you to positively impact breast cancer survivors or thrivers. Whew, how did I do, y'all?
You did good. But you know what? When you said it was a card party, I thought y'all was like playing spades. Because I was about to bring my spades partner Smooth, because we ain't lost a game in like 32 years.
That's next. That's next.
Y'all don't gotta worry about me and Smooth showing up slamming books on the table. I thought it was a spades card party.
You can do that.
I was about to make that call to my boy.
Make it happen. Make it happen. Where's the adult game night, Felicia? Make it happen.
And for the record, is it 6:30 to 8:30?
So the flyer says 6:30 to 8:30, but we want to make sure everyone gets home safely. So we're going to do it from 6:30 to 8. And sorry in advance if that was an inconvenience to anyone who planned to attend.
Well, great. I'm so glad you're doing
What's the name of the
events also?
I'm sorry. What you say, Cora?
What's the name of the nail spa again?
Oh, A Touch of Rain Nail Spa.
Okay.
And can I put it in the chat?
I did put the information in the chat for those who are, I think you said the address was 12407 Larchmere Boulevard.
Yes, ma'am.
So check that out tomorrow evening. I would be there if I did not know until today that this event was going on. And I've already committed to a good friend and colleague, our former intern at the Call and Post Chill, Joey Pompiano.
Joey Pop
has invited me out to the Bone Thugs and Harmony concert tomorrow night at Tower City.
Okay.
And I think it's from exactly the same time. I'm like, why is this concert from 6 to 8? But otherwise, I would definitely be there, making some cards and all that good stuff. So I'm so glad you guys are doing these events. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add, this is Sharon, you are such an inspiration. This is therapeutic. This is only my second time speaking out about this. Normally I don't journal like all the time, but when I'm feeling like a lot of emotions, I do like go and write things down like in my journal. But Saturday was the first time that I spoke out like in front of people like about this, but I think I should do this more. And I think this will help, get a lot of these other emotions that I have like compressed, help get these things out. But this is therapeutic. And thank you, Felicia, for inviting me on here.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you both for coming and sharing. This is, like somebody else mentioned in the chat earlier, this is very brave for you all to be able to do this. So I'm glad that you are helping us and, whatever we need to do to help you, we can do it. So.
And again, I want everybody who's watching, please feel free to share the show and it will archive itself, and you can share it even after that, and I'll drop it also on the Kevin Chillher YouTube channel, and that'll probably be up tomorrow, so you guys can share it on that as well. But yeah, like Felicia said, we really appreciate you ladies, you sisters, showing up and sharing your story, giving information. Sharon, you helped out a co-guest. Cora was appreciative of having you on here. So thank both you ladies. And I understand that we said we were giving away stuff for free today. So unfortunately, we didn't give away nothing.
Oh,
But the show was so powerful. But probably you guys can look for me. Maybe I'll come up tomorrow. I'll talk to Felicia. Maybe we'll just do a giveaway show the next 2 days, because we do have
Yeah, because we got an interview that you don't yet know about, but we can do it on that day. We got something.
what an interview that is it one a bone? Do we got a bone interview? Hey,
Not
tell
that I know of, not yet. That could be possible.
my
But
nephew, crazy and lazy. I said, "What's up?" If you see him, and my
my
nephew
cousin
Wish, okay, and my nephew Nova the Rebel is also on that show. So if you see Nova the Rebel, tell him Uncle Chill said what's happening. Okay,
But yeah, we usually always give away stuff for free. So we have not forgotten about you guys, everybody in the audience that has joined us. But I think these ladies, if they were interested, I would love to give them some tickets, Chill. I mean, you are the ticket holder. So you
man, I got mad tickets. But,
wait a minute, what's tickets to what?
I got mad tickets. But no, Cora and Sharon on November 6th, we're doing I'll give the proper name. I just keep calling it the Motown Show. It is the Motor City Magic Oldies Review number 10. So when you get to have 10 of them, that means that they're not rotten. Because you know, if they're not a good show, it stop after 1. You don't get a 2. This is 10. And it is in Cleveland Heights at the Civic. So if you want a pair of tickets, let Felicia know, and I will make sure that you all get tickets. Again, that's Saturday, November 6th at the Civic, Mayfield. If you like, everybody loves Motown music.
yeah,
So
thank you.
If one of my favorite groups, the Rare Jewels. These are OG sisters. One sister, Margaret Foxworth, sang backup for Al Green for years and years and years. Very close with Al. She even had Al's son. She got Al Green Jr. And she was on the show when we were in the studio. And she was saying, yeah, I picked out Al's clothes for the album cover that he performed in. And I was with him all the time. And that gave us the opportunity to say, was you with him when he got them hot grits thrown on him? And she said, no comment. She might have known something about it. But anyway, Margaret Foxworth is part of the Rare Jewels. They do the Ladies of Motown. Oh my God, these sisters do the thing. And yeah, if you want to go to the show, let Felicia know, and I can make sure I get you a pair of tickets. And for anybody else who was tuning in, now some people just tune into the show for free stuff. So y'all gonna have to check. I'll make an announcement tomorrow. We'll do a special giveaway show, and whoever the surprise guest that Felicia has, we'll see about that. But go ahead, Felicia.
So in the works of getting this interview done, and the reason we have to do it on a special day at a special time is because there is a play going on right now called The Exonerated, and it talks about people who were wrongly accused. I think this is real life stories, based on people's real life stories of people who had gone to prison and then later became exonerated. So we want to speak with the director, but they're doing the show at night, every night. So while we would be here doing Chill Talk, they're actually performing the show. So we have to do it earlier in the day at a different time. So we will probably have some tickets for that to give away. The show, I think, has got about 2 weeks left. So stay tuned, keep it locked right here on Chill Talk to win some tickets for that. Chill will have more tickets for the Motown show.
And we'll have tickets for the Will Smith Plays Vina and Serena Daddy movie.
Right, King Richard. So I think that's going to be a really a really great one. Chill and I are gonna go see that on Tuesday, so we'll let you know how good it is, and you'll get your own opportunity to come and check out that movie. So yeah, a lot of good stuff coming down the pike here on Chill Talk. So make sure y'all keep it locked. Lastly, I want to mention that there will be a Black Cinema Cafe movie this Friday right here at Umbar. The film is called Black as Night, and the lead is a young Black teenage girl. She's playing like a kind of like a vampire role. I am going to post it on my social media, the trailer, so you guys can get a look. Come out, it's free. You know, you guys can come out Friday night, see a free movie, buy some food from Umbar, and it's just always such a good time. So come check us out Friday.
What night is that, Felicia?
This Friday, October 29th. Doors open at 6. The film will start at 7. We'll do a little discussion afterward. But yeah, it's always a good time. And you always get free snacks. So that guy who was peeking his head in a little bit, not Rod, the owner, but there was another guy I never introduced that was doing all this stuff while y'all were talking, is my good friend Scott Everett, who is an UTS representative. And he always provides us with great popcorn and things like that. He's going to be a Chill Talk sponsor coming up soon. So
Yeah.
you'll see more UTS products courtesy of Chill Talk. So that is all. That's all I got. I don't know what else you want to add, Chill.
All right, real quick, just because I didn't get a chance to say it. This is our, I believe, our 77th show under quarantine. Since we haven't been at the radio station, we've done 77 shows, just wherever we can do them, from our house, from the Unbar. We did the first show at my mama's house. Felicia got us thrown out of my mama's house, so we couldn't go back there. But we
Chill tried to set me up with a fake bag of weed.
Felicia brought a bag of weed to my mama's house, and we got thrown out. Trying to say it was
peppermint tea.
Okay. Anyway, we got thrown out. But yeah, so again, this is our 77th show in quarantine. And again, not at the radio station, so we don't have regular commercials. But if anybody wants to donate to Chill Talk, and so we continue to do shows like this and give away all the free stuff, you see it in the chat. You can support, donate at Cash App, $money to the number 2 money to chill. We take $1, we take a $5, we take a big $100 blue face Benjamin. Anyway, just whatever you want to donate. If you don't want to donate, just watch the show for free and have fun. But we appreciate you all. Sharon, Cora, love you sisters. Glad you came on and shared your story. Make sure you check back with us. And if you want those 2 tickets, a pair of tickets, let Felicia know. Even if you want to gift them to somebody else who loves Motown, just let Felicia know. Felicia Haney, the super producer, thank you again. Another excellent.
And next time, well, I won't say next time we log on, because we might have a show between now and next Wednesday. But from now to next Wednesday, by the time we come on, we're going to have a new mayor, y'all. So yeah, this is will be an
maybe
exciting...
we'll get the mayor. We'll get the new mayor. We'll get the new mayor on
yeah.
the show. So yeah, we will see how that goes. Very exciting. But again, thanks everybody. And thanks everybody who hung in there and watched the show. I saw a lot of people hanging in and just, you know, getting down with what these sisters were talking about. So support their efforts, support them, know how to act. And when you get those, I want you to, she said, gently use wigs.
Yeah.
Don't send none of them old raggedy ass wigs over there. Nobody wants that.
Nobody want grandma old wigs.
Grandma, grab that old wig out the back. They taking wigs.
Where the hair be missing, just be like netting. It don't even be no hair right there no more.
I've been looking for somebody to get his wig to. No, we don't. They don't want those. They don't want that one. We appreciate you. We love you, but they don't want those.
Yeah.
All right, but we are y'all. We are gone in usual Chill Talk fashion. Let me see y'all throw up the deuces. We are gone. Peace.
Peace.
Great show, guys.